Hello, you amazing people. You're listening to the Marketing and Coffee Podcast, the show that brings you the latest in marketing, especially in the UAE market, with your host, Lijo Etup.
Today we have on my podcast Ahmed Gowda. So he is the e-commerce lead for Middle East and Africa for BiC World. BiC World is very close to my house because my kid uses a lot of BiC products. So it was quite easy for me to understand the BiC product. And as we were talking offline also, we found a lot of old contacts and my old office across the street. So across the 25th floor. So a lot of old days. But yes, welcome to the podcast, Ahmed. So he is the digital and e-commerce manager for BiC in the Middle East. Before that, a lot of different roles across Microsoft, agencies, Asus, the laptop company. So across a lot of different things. So quick first question that comes when I looked at your LinkedIn profile was your LinkedIn banner says in search of incredible. So what's the story behind that?
Yes, so thank you, Liz, of course, for having me. I think it's a great pleasure to go through this with you. I think it started with Asus. So Asus, they have this slogan, which is "In search of incredible," and this company has been known for creativity and innovation with their products and so on. So I spent some good time in my career with this company, and something that I've learned and it became part of my career is that you should always be looking for something incredible, and the fact that it's not something to find, it's something to pursue. So you will always be searching for something incredible, because the moment you find something that's incredible, that gives you the next step that you should look for something more incredible. So it became something that I believe in, that nothing is perfect. We should be always looking to improve, and we should always be looking for what's better.
Yeah, that goes back to the saying that Satya Nadella had said, don't be a know-it-all, but be a learn-it-all. So I think
Yes, true.
you never reach incredible.
Yes.
So quickly on the big brands, stationery, lights, razors, and I recently had another acquisition. So with almost no overlap in its audience, what's the positioning of BiC and what does it stand for? So being a part of marketing, I'm sure that it's a tough sell considering that there's so much from the kitchen to the hands of the kids.
Yes, most of the time I get this question. People are like, "What's stationery with lighters and shavers and all of these products?" I think it's the way that the brand is approaching those products. I think it's more about the brand promise than the products. So like with BiC, we're always trying to deliver the high quality, safe, affordable essentials of every day to everyone every time. I think this is how we position it. It's about having the highest product, being an affordable to all consumers, and making sure that this happens every time. So it's more about the promise, and we feel that whenever we have the know-how and understanding of a specific product category, we enter this category, we master how we do this kind of promise and deliver it to the consumers, and this is how we get different products. So we do stationery. You have the ball pen. I recently saw a post on LinkedIn is roaming around the UAE, which is the BiC ball pen, the very known BiC ball pen, and it shows how it stayed the same from 1950 till today, while no change to the quality or how it gives people the same experience. So this is what we're trying to achieve. You have it everywhere, every time. So I think this is what makes marketing simple. So we follow the same approach with every product category, with the difference of what we are talking about to the consumers, what kind of change to each of those product categories. So lighters, for example, is about safety and quality. We have the highest standard in terms of lighters. Our lighters will give you a long lifetime, like 3,000 lights. With the razors, you will be safe using our razors. We take care of like how it's packaged and everything to give you this safe experience. And for stationery, of course, is about the high quality products that we sell and people used to it and we grow up with. Even so, it's more about the brand promise than the different categories that we sell.
Yeah, I guess I think the basic principle is to ensure brand quality irrespective of the category. I guess I think if you see BiC irrespective, even on maybe tomorrow a machine tool, you will be okay. These are the same guys who are making it. Doesn't matter if it's not in the same category. I can trust the quality. They would have put a thought process through this.
Yes, in fact, actually, we have our engineering arm, which is internal. We do our own technology, which ensures that we have this high quality. So even the things that we do internally, they have this kind of promise as well. So.
So I on your LinkedIn, I mean, a few months back, I saw some great numbers that the e-commerce and one of the topics, and that's the reason I reached out to you. Like, how do you scale e-commerce? So I don't know what liberty you are to talk numbers, but how did you go around the process of achieving such amazing growth?
I think it's usually it's tough at the beginning where you're nowhere to understand where you are. So I think understanding where you are is the first mission, is to know uh, where you are from consumers. Are consumers favorite you as a product that they will purchase online or not? This is very important to understand how big is your category, how big is the audience that will be willing to buy your product, and from then you can start working on things like decide on which products are you going to sell, which partners are you going to work with. I mean, channels like Amazon, Noon, and all those amazing partners that we have in the UAE. So uh, I think before that, what's really, really important, and I think it's at the core of how you make this growth, is the team and how the team understands the value of being on e-commerce and leading on e-commerce. I think it's very important. So BiC leads many markets in Middle East and Africa in terms of awareness, in terms of market share. It's very important that a market leader would be taking initiatives in something like e-commerce where it's new to many brands. So we are, as the brand that drives the market, we should be taking those kind of initiatives. And I think also something very important is the leadership. So you have to have some sponsors within the organization that can help you achieve those results, top management that they can follow and work with you on how to get this work done. And of course, the team that's on the ground, getting them to believe that this is the growth and this is the future of the company. We have amazing results in terms of e-commerce globally. We are, I think, at 20% in terms of e-commerce business. So it's something that's growing and will continue to grow in our company globally, and Middle East and Africa, of course. And I think it's it became something that people should think about it as not an option, but more something that they must do. All brands now, all companies, all even small businesses, they have access to be on e-commerce, and that's something that we have seen during 2020 improve big time for people, because people are staying home and they don't feel safe going out, so they rely a lot on buying things online.
Yeah. So on the topic of e-commerce, I'm sure that your play is essentially a marketplace play, right? You don't have your own e-commerce engine that you're driving, are you?
Yeah, so we don't do direct to consumers. So like we don't have like bic.com e-commerce website. We do this in US, in Europe. It's more it's much larger business in those regions. But for us in Middle East and Africa, we work with partners. So what we call pure players and omni retailers. So pure players is basically Amazon, Noon, and Jumia in Africa. And then we work with omni retailers, something like Carrefour, for example. They have their own e-commerce platform. We work through them to have our products online with certain offers and so on.
Yeah. So as you said, the one of the only challenge that I see per se is that the data that is available, because with marketplaces you have a lot of dependency. So I'm sure that you have a lot of data management that takes place. Did you have some any aha moment, like considering because biggest advantage of digital is that you have much more exposure or numbers that shows consumer behavior. It's not opinion; it's hard data facts. So did you have some any aha moments, or do you think this is something that you already knew while going into the e-commerce?
Yeah, so for our region, I think data availability when you don't work direct to consumer, is a bit difficult. So if you work through Amazon, if you work through Noon, your access to data would be very limited due to their way of working. Like they prefer that you go through them when it comes to taking decisions and so on. So you don't have access to all the data. You might have access to sales data, like what kind of products you're selling, what kind of offers are working or not working. With Amazon launching in 2020, the Amazon advertising platform, this gave us access to some advertising data. So having like search campaigns results, so we know what kind of keywords to use and what kind of keywords are not working. But I would say an aha moment would be when we realize how content is changing how our products are perceived to consumers. So we did some sort of a manual audit on our products that are available across Middle East and Africa. It was a project that we sit to make sure that we have the right content, to know where we are in terms of search ranking on e-commerce, to make sure that we have the right price and definitely the right content. So when we did this kind of audit, we found out that we are in a position that we need to improve content. So like product titles, number of pictures, the kind of description you write, what kind of keywords you choose to put in your title and description. And based on that, we have done some improvements and we have seen great growth in terms of sales. That's just because people, for example, with Amazon AE, we have seen this year in Jan more than 300% increase in terms of sellout, which is huge.
Wow.
And that's just because we took care of content. We made sure that when people see our product along with other products, they think that this is a reliable product. It's a credible page that you go through it with all the details. You have reviews from people and everything, and this shows that this is the right offer for you. Then people will go and buy. So content is something that people take for granted. Is like I will just put my products online. I will put some keywords in the title. I will put like 3 pictures, and that's it. No, it's a continuous work. We discover, for example, that the word coloring is used. Sometimes people write it with OU. Sometimes it's only O. So we saw the difference between both, and we realized that okay, let's go with O, not OU, and we have seen some improvement in terms of selling those products with this keyword.
Wow.
So it's something that should be continuously done and improving, and that's something that people don't really take care of very well in our region.
Yeah, and this is a question to the digital marketer inside you. Do you think there is too much of data? Is there too much of paralysis by analysis?
I would never say that there's enough data. I think for everyone in the data field, I think they would be hungry for more data. And of course, data should be governed and should be used in a way that protects the consumer's privacy. But in that case, the data here, when it comes to our business, for example, it's more about the products that we're selling, the content, how it works, where are we from the search ranks, digital advertising data, like how people are engaging with our videos versus our images, how our Google ads are working. So it's more of data that concerns about the efficiency of how we deliver our messages to the consumers than using the consumer's data. So I wanted to highlight this because it's a very important topic. And I would never say there's enough data, but I would say that the more data we get, the more clarity we have, and definitely this improves efficiency in terms of how we spend our marketing dollars, and definitely how we make sure that we achieve better results in terms of e-commerce when we use those marketing dollars to advertise our e-commerce efforts.
Yeah, one of the challenges that, as you said, you have some omni-channel partners and you have some partners that is pure play online. And the biggest challenge when you, as an organization that's as old as BiC, is the entire mindset of an organization that is steeped into traditional distribution, right? I'm sure that there was a forced start because of COVID, And I understand from you that there was a lot of support from the higher ups. So how did do you think that as an organization, and how did you go about making the digital transformation of an organization itself so that they are ready for the next level of consumer behavior?
Uh, I'll tell you how I approached this. I don't know if I have the right knowledge for this, but the way I approached this was the team, starting with people who are already interested in e-commerce and they understand the value of being online right now in this world. We went through with those people through trainings, through consultations, and most importantly, inspiring them on how e-commerce can really change their business. And with young mindset people, they tend to agree to things that will really make a difference. This is how our generation is has its own strength, which is making an impact. So we started with a very small team, and we have done a very focused project. We called it the 45 Days Spark Project. And this project was to make sure that we are in 45 days, we will be available on all e-commerce channels in Middle East and Africa with the right assortment, with the right content. And we went through the process through those people who had achieved this within this timeline. And then we started having our own presence, which improved a big time how we are selling, of course, and the total turnover coming from e-commerce. So it's definitely the team and having strong sponsorship within the leadership organization is definitely the key to penetrate a company that's more traditional in terms of distribution.
So a lot of changes happened from a digital perspective during the COVID times. Okay, there's always this say talk about how much of this change is permanent, and how much of these changes will revert back to the good old days of being going people consumers going back. So what were your learnings, and what do you think the future will be in terms of digital and e-commerce once the COVID situation subsides?
Um, I would say that e-commerce specifically is something that will not reverse back. I'm a big believer in how this will grow. We have seen in 2020 a 5 years growth happening only in 2020. So we have some statistics from Statista. You know, they're saying in 2019 they were saying like we will reach $1 trillion e-commerce in US in 2025. And in 2020, we have reached more than 880, so almost there. You have this huge growth that's happening in 1 year. And with this, I think it's more people realizing how comfortable it is to shop online and how, it's very easy experience. They can get whatever they want, they can return it. So they were forced into doing something that usually would have taken more years, but because they have been forced, they try the experience and they believe now it's more easier than going to the shop, for example, to buy certain things. Sometimes, especially with technology, when people are forced to do something and they try it, this is the hookup. This is where they actually continue to use it. So they have this denial at the beginning, saying no, I don't want my credit card to be stolen. But then if you're staying home and you don't have other option, you try to go with the safest solution. And when you do that and you feel that, okay, it's fine, nothing happened, and I'm safe, I'll do it again and 3 times and 4 times and many times more. So I think what's happened in 2020 gave a huge push to the how we operate in terms of business, and of course for consumers how they shop. We have seen other factors as well. For example, one of the things we used to talk about online education and remote education for so long, and it has been there, but it was like not very well organized and not very well in place. It was like an extra step that we will take in the future. But we saw in 2020 it was put in place and everyone was doing it. Maybe it's not 100% efficient or effective, but I would say it's a great start, because if we wouldn't go through this process, it might took us like maybe a few more years to have something similar to that. So I think especially e-commerce is irreversible. Um, I think it will get more people to believe in it because you have your peers, you have your friends that tried, that didn't try before. Now they tried and they are comfortable. So with this kind of word of mouth and people are like talking about their experiences, I think more people will get online and buy online.
Yeah, and I think the good thing that happened was that the situation lasted long enough for it to become a habit.
Exactly.
Uh, so
Exactly.
it is not, if it had things are after 1 month, 2 months, then it would have, the chances would have gone back. But it's almost a year now, and now I think it's a matter of habit. Now it's consumer behavior is first online and then offline,
Yes.
and I think the reverse journey has happened now.
Yeah,
That
we have seen, for example, in Africa, many companies coming up with solutions. So in Africa, it's very difficult because, for example, you don't have like the infrastructure to support e-commerce, like the logistics wise, like drivers, they cannot reach certain places and so on. They came up with whole lots of like solutions, like pickup locations. They came up with mobile payment methods. They came up with a lot of solutions, and we have seen growth in those markets where it was nearly impossible to see that kind of growth if it wouldn't for COVID-19.
Yeah, and so somebody who's starting on the e-commerce journey now, I'm see there are a lot of learnings, the examples that you're giving, and it's quite varied, like that distribution challenges of Africa, consumer behavior challenges of the Middle East, of online payment being issues. So there's different challenges across the world. So if somebody's starting on an e-commerce journey across this Middle East, Africa, so what would be the advice to them?
I would say that it's about Spark. I just told you about Spark, and I think I can elaborate more on Spark. So we took this as the 5 key elements of how you make your e-commerce successful, and we call it the Spark. So S for search. So you need to
Okay.
make sure that you are visible on the first page of search in terms of e-commerce. This is a key. If you're not on the first page, you're not bought. People usually buy on maybe on the top 10 products within the first page. That's the majority of purchases. We're talking about P for price and promotion. So, for example, we have one of the products that are selling very well on Amazon. It's the glue stick, and if you go and search glue, and you will find our product, which is a very reasonable price, and it's a good package, and it's the right offer. And you look at the other products, you see products that are more expensive or less number of items, you don't have the right offer. So because we have the right offer, we have been selling this product without doing anything. It's just selling itself. So price and promotion is very important. Promotion, you have to find this fine way where you have some products that gives you high margin, so high profit, but you still have some products that are selling more. So you put some promotion behind it, like 10% discount, 15% discount, so it sells more. And with selling, you get exposure to a bigger audience, and then you can sell the other products according to what you're selling with the promotion. So it's a mix, a margin mix, what we call it, and this is how price and promotion. The third thing is assortment. So Spark A is assortment. Assortment is very important. You can have 250 products being sold online, but only 10 that are really selling well. So instead of having a huge assortment, you should be focusing on having the most effective assortment. And I think what people should start with is what they're selling offline. So what's working in retail, having it online, maybe with a promotion. That can give an edge to why people should buy it online, not offline. The second thing that they can do with assortment is having unique products, products that are sold only online. So one of the examples that we have seen in the UAE, for example, is Pampers. So with Pampers, what they did is we used to have these small packages for Pampers, like 60 pieces and so on, across the retail. So they came up with the solution. You have like, I think, a 200 pack, which cannot really fit in retail, like you cannot fit it on the shelves, but it's only sold online. But you know, if any one of us has a baby, they know like how many Pampers they need, right? So how many diapers they need. So when they did this, they saw huge sales coming through e-commerce because it fitted with a specific need and it was not available offline. So the only solution for people to buy it and fulfill their needs is to buy it online. So this was a great example of how they approached e-commerce. And I think this is how we can make assortment very important, is making sure that we have the right products as well as having unique products that are only sold online. R is for rating and reviews. So it's all about the consumer experience. So whether they buy from you because you have a good price, or it's because it's a unique product, or it's a nice offer, you should approach those consumers and make sure that they leave a review and high ratings. Most of the products are sold online that requires people to read reviews. They must have, I think, more than 4.5 stars in terms of how it's rated, and good reviews for people to believe that this product is actually good and purchase it. So you should keep your ratings above the 4.5. And finally, content, which is the core of what we're doing in e-commerce. Imagine that people are going to the store, they take the product off the shelf, they look at the product, they flip it, they read the labels, they see what colors it is, they see what's in the package, they can feel the product, right? On e-commerce, they don't do that. They're staring at their screens. So you need to provide enough data and enough information to make them feel comfortable about buying something that they never touched. Of course, some products they buy offline, but then they go buy it online, so it's easy. But if your product is unique, you need to make sure that you give them similar experience to what they feel in the store, for them to believe that this is the right product for them to purchase. So Spark It is what we do. We make sure that we improve our Spark, and with that, of course, comes growth in terms of sales. E-commerce is not something that will grow overnight. It takes a lot of time, a lot of observations, a lot of looking at what competition are doing, and how we benefit from platforms like Amazon. Amazon is a very strong platform, and people still don't see that. With Amazon advertising, you can literally sell any product. You can, for example, sell a product just by having it appearing on the first page of search using paid ads. So instead of going, for example, to Facebook and running some ads, you go on Amazon and you advertise it, and you will get great sales with that. We have amazing sales coming from Amazon so far, and we believe it's a great platform. So
Yeah,
spark it up.
Amazon is another, I think, is the biggest search engine, right? You just go straight into Amazon, because if you know the products available on Amazon, you really don't go anywhere else to Google or to search, I guess. That's
Yes.
it's amazing.
Yeah, so with search, you do some paid ads maybe on Google. If you don't have something like Amazon, you can even combine between Amazon and Google, but you never miss Google advertising. It's something very, very important. And in the US, for example, and Europe, it's heavily invested on from all brands, from all even like small sellers, I would say, on the marketplace. So it's very important, and it's easy access to for everyone. Anyone who has access to Amazon, in terms of being a seller, can use it, and yeah, it's very intuitive.
Yeah. So, how does the future advertising, like now with iOS 14, it's become a big challenge in getting consumer data. There is AI that's coming in. So do you think that artificial intelligence will automate a lot of these processes? How does the future of digital look like from a marketer's point of view?
What I would love to see actually is the ability to benefit from AI in how we are offering our products to consumers on e-commerce. So just imagine I'm going to e-commerce, and my entire purchasing behavior is about finding something that above 15% discount. So imagine going to Amazon and searching for a specific product, and all what you see is 15% plus discount, or something that specific keywords that I use in my search generally would appear on the title of the product, or being chosen because it like the AI will select a specific product because certain keywords that I use are being matched with the title. It is there somehow, but promotion and content real-time optimization would be something that I think will be coming in the future, and I think will be very beneficial to both the brand and the consumer. You get what you need, what you're looking for. If you're looking to buy buy one get one, so you will see all those buy one get one offers. If you buy with specific price promotion, if you don't care about promotion, it will show you everything. And then you get matched with the correct consumer, so you have the chance to increase your sales. I would love to see that in the next few years.
That sounds amazing. Thanks a lot, Ahmed, for coming on this podcast. Spark is something that I will not forget. I just will go to be a mantra for every e-commerce client that I'm going to speak to, because it kind of summarizes everything that that's the bigger amongst all the takeaways. That's the biggest takeaway. It's so simple in its thinking. So I guess that's something that I will keep repeating in every forum that I get, and I'll attribute it to coming from you. So thanks a lot for coming on this podcast. It's been amazing learnings. All the best for your way ahead with BiC.
Thank you so much, Tejo. It was a pleasure being with you, and good luck with your upcoming podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.